What's going on, everybody? It's John with Bull-Throttle Trading. Today I wanted to make a video showing you guys how to use the OCO brackets. The OCO brackets, if you're not familiar with what they are, it's basically a way of having two orders on the same stock at the same time. So basically, it's if you buy into a stock, it allows you to set your stop loss and a limit order at wherever you want, and basically as the stock moves, in between these brackets, so to speak, you don't really have to do anything, right? It's good for people who, like myself. This is why I use it a lot, is because I work a day job as well as trading, so I can't really sit in front of my computer the entire time and just trade. Like, I have to do other responsibilities that I have throughout the day. So this is where the OCO brackets work really, really nicely. So if you take a position in the morning and okay, I can expect that based on its previous resistance that, we're going to shoot for this price, right? And because I bought in it here, I'm willing to lose X amount of dollars, so this is why I'm going to set my stop loss there, right? And then as, your day goes on, you can set different alerts so that, if you have Thinkorswim on your phone, you could get like alerts on your phone, so you can kind of gauge throughout the day where it's going, if it's going in your favor, if it's not. And again, like, let's say you take a position in the morning and you have alerts going off, and then let's say at lunch you're able to log in and you can see, okay, well, we've moved up maybe half the way to my limit order, or 2/3 of the way towards my limit order. Now you can kind of go back, now that you have a moment, and raise your stop loss, so that, okay, if this starts to go downward and my stop loss gets filled, in a way I'm locking in profits, right? It's a very, very good way. Again, for those who can't sit in front of the computer and trade all day, it helps you be able to be productive. And it's also, even if you can sit in front of your computer, it's a very, very good way to be able to manage your risk in real time. So you'll see in the video, I'll show you guys how to set them up. I'll show you how I like to use them, and a couple little tricks, the way I use them, that really helps me be successful on a daily basis, right? Again, as traders, we challenge ourselves daily, and that's one of the best things to me anyways about the stock market. Is I love the fact that every day when I go in and log on, that I'm not sure what's going to happen. So I have to adapt to whatever the market is showing me, and figure out, what's the right thing to do. It keeps the stock market extremely exciting for me. And it's not, unlike, a day job where you work to 9 to 5, the stock market doesn't mean, okay, because I put in this much time that I'm going to get this much money out of it. It doesn't work that way, right? It's not like an hourly rate that you have at a job. So again, any tool that we can use that helps us manage our risk, most importantly, manage our risk, and also helps us lock in our profits. Nobody goes broke locking in profits, right? So any tools that we can use that make this easier for us as traders, we should be taking advantage of. And that's the whole purpose of this video. So I wanted to show you guys how to set these up, how to use them, and just give you enough idea too, because you might use them differently than me. And that doesn't mean you're wrong or I'm wrong. It's just what works for us, right? You don't trade the same thing that I trade, or I don't trade the same thing that you trade. And even if we did trade the same things, your style could be completely different than mine. And that's totally fine. As long as whatever it is that we do is helping us successfully end the days in the green over and over and over. So with that, if you guys are ready, let's jump on in. Okay, so as you can see, I have DGAS open on the screen, right? And you can see I have my OCO brackets for, I have a stop loss, and I have a limit order. Sorry, I got some movement happening on natural gas right now. So the reason why I have this is because I have a stop loss set I'm about to get filled on my order here. There it goes. Wow. Well, that was nice. Let's see, and I still have 20 shares. And I think I'm not even going to be greedy, and I'm just going to sell them. Okay, so 564.10 on the day on DGAS. So that happened a lot faster than I was hoping for it to happen. But that is exactly why I use the OCO brackets. So you were able to see I had a stop loss set down here, right? And the reason why I do that is, okay, so if my stop loss went through, then it would sell part of my position. Now you could see right here I had 120 shares that I was holding, right? So while holding 120 shares, I had my stop loss at 100 shares, and I had my limit order at 100 shares. And the reason why I do that is to either lock in profits, or if my stop loss gets filled, then this way I have, like, I haven't completely sold out of my position, right? I've decreased my position size automatically so that if it continues to drop, the impact that it will have as far as a dollar amount would be much less than if I was holding all 120 shares, right? So if my stop loss would have filled, if this would have dropped and my stop loss filled, then I would have had a smaller position size. My price would have averaged down. My average price per share would have went down, and I'd still be holding 20 shares so that if I wanted to, like, if it kept going down and say I found a support like right around here that was above this previous support and it started to bounce, then I could buy back in, right? And this way I'm not completely leaving my position. And then this, like, for the reversal, as you saw when my limit order went in, I only sold 100 of my 120 shares. And the reason why I did that is this way I could lock in any profits that I have, and then I still have 20 shares, so that if it continues to rise, I can obviously continue to, keep making more money. But also, if it started to dip again, I would lock in those profits, and then as it dipped, the amount of money that I would give back would be far less than if I was holding 120 shares. And by locking in those profits, that's keeping me close to my daily goal, right? So if it would have dipped and found a new support, like say it started bouncing right here, I could have bought back in while still holding those 20 shares. And when I bought back in, my average price was down here at like 229. So even though I'd be buying in more here, my average price would be like in the middle, right? So my average price would be lower than me buying it outright at this part, which is why sometimes it's good to still hold on to some of your position size, because this way, then when you sell and then you still have leftover shares and it starts to bounce again and you identify a support, well, now you could buy back in and you already have this lower average price. So it's kind of helping you buy at a better deal. Does that make sense to you guys, right? So as you can see, again, I wasn't really planning on that happening that fast, but this is how I do my part at managing my risk every day, as well as locking in my profits, right? So let's say, when that limit order went in and I was over my $500 a day goal, and let's say I would have kept that position open. See, like, we're starting to bounce right here. So I could have bought in more and then continued, and this would have been more of a long term. Again, I work a day job. I have other things that I need to do with my day. So the faster that I can hit my goal and then carry on with the other things that I'm doing in my life, the better, right? That's just the way that my personal life is right now. In the future, if I end up becoming a trader as a career, then I may want to have kept that open, and this way I locked in some profits. But if I'm going to sit here and actually continue to trade throughout the day, even though I'm at my daily goal, maybe I want to try to add more. You know what I mean? There's no reason, if an opportunity presents itself, to block yourself from being able to take charge of that opportunity. So as I said, my personal lifestyle right now is I like to carry on with my day doing other things. I have to. I work a day job, so I have responsibilities there. So this is why I kind of just closed out my position. I hit my daily goal, so I'm happy with that. But again, I could have kept this position open, and as this is dipping, see, we're seeing that we didn't validate this support. We're now below this EMA line. So I would be waiting to see where we might see a bounce. And if we continue having these lower or these higher lows, right? So see if this bounces right here, then my pattern is still continuing, right? So I could have bought back in right, right around here and continue, if we're still getting these higher lows, then there's a good chance that we could see higher highs coming as well, right? So this is, again, it all depends on what works for you. If you're somebody who you are day trading or trying to be a day trader as a career and you want to continue, to try to make money on the day if more opportunity presents itself, then you probably wouldn't have sold those last 20 shares as I did. So I wanted to give you guys an idea though of the importance of using these OCO brackets. And here, I'll even show you how to set them up too. So what you're going to want to do is on this active trader tab, right? So you're going to click this active trader tab, and then you're going to go to OCO instead of single, okay? And then when you have this OCO open, I have my hotkey set up where I hit Alt S, and that opens a cell. It opens this. It's on the other screen, so let me bring it over here. So you can see it opens this up, and then I click Edit, and we have this edit down here, right? So this is where I can set. Obviously, I'm not holding any shares right now, but let's say I was holding 100 shares. So I'd want to leave 80 left over. So if I'm holding 100, or I'm sorry, I want to leave 20 left over. So if I'm holding 100, I want my limit order and I want my sales order to be at 80. Now again, this all depends on your style. This is how I do it. You can have it be your full position if you want. That's entirely up to you, right? So, and then real quick, I just want to point this out. See, so we established with this line that we found this support and had a nice big push, right? So I could have bought back in with more shares here. And as we continue to push up, it looks like we're testing this previous resistance. And with the pattern continuing to do what it's been doing, we can expect that we might see some higher highs here, right? So again, this would have been, if I left that position size open, this is an example of what I'm talking about. So we had another push here, and I could have bought in more and increased my position size from 20 to maybe 100 again, or 50, or whatever you feel comfortable with, and then had this nice push and see. Now it's looking like it's getting rejected here at this upper VWAP. But again, patterns tend to repeat themselves. It doesn't mean they have to. But I wouldn't be surprised if we see a higher high come up here, right? So we approached it. We started to get rejected, but right now since the market is open, we can see D-gas has been going up, which means that natural gas has been bearish and selling off. So again, this is why we do our jobs at just managing our risk. All right, so back to the OCO brackets. Okay. So, and then you could see we have two orders here, right? I have both of them set up for 80. So we're pretending that I'm holding 100 shares. And let's say, I'm going to get rid of these drawings here. Okay. So let's say I bought in when it was right here, okay? And we've established that there's this support right down here. And I bought in, let's say right here. So that means that I want my stop loss to be below this support, but not by much, right? So maybe I'd go with this middle VWAP. So my stop loss would be 229.65. So we'll type that in here, right? And you could see the second one is the stop loss, and it's two bars here. See how the limit order is just this top bar, and then the stop order are these bottom two. And the reason why we have this is you could choose, okay, if we have stop, you can do stop limit, you could do a trailing stop. I like to do a stop order because this makes sure that it will get filled, right? So when it's at stop, that means that when it hits whatever price I put in here, it will sell at market price, right? Now with DGAS, we can see between the bid and the ask, there's a little bit of a spread. So you're not going to fill this stop loss at the best price point. Again, it's going to sell at market when it hits this price, okay? So that's just something that you guys should be aware of. However, again, I know that it'll sell my position for me, especially if it drops fast. If I have a stop limit in and I have it at a certain dollar amount, it could drop so fast that it passes my dollar amount without selling my position, and now I'm screwed, right? And that's a position that I've been in before, and I don't want that to happen, because if it tanks fast enough, you can't sell your position, and now you're taking a big loss because you have a large position size, and that's not effective trading tactics. I mean, you might get lucky from time to time, but remember, our goal as traders or investors is to continuously be profitable, manage our risk, seize those opportunities, and be able to do it daily. It's not just, oh, okay, I made profits today. Anybody can do that. Everybody gets lucky at some point. And I know there's no such thing as a perfect trader, but we want to strive to be as close to perfect as possible. So, again, that's how we set up our stop loss. And then what I like to do with my limit order is if I'm holding 100 shares, all right, I'm going to put this again at 80. If I'm holding 100 shares and I know whatever my average price is, and again, I don't have an average price listed, but if I know what my average price is and I know how many shares I'm holding, I can calculate what price that I need to hit to be at my daily goal. And that's how I know where to set my limit order, right? So I know if I have 100 shares, right, and I bought it at, let's say, 200 and, here, what was this at? Let's just say $230, just to make the math easy. Okay, so then you would take 100 shares times $230, right? So that would give me the total amount of money that I have in. So 100 times $230 is $23,000. So I have $23,000 in my trade at this point, right? And let's say my daily goal is 500. So then I'm going to take 23,000 and then I'm going to add the 500 profit that I want to be at. So that's now $23,500, right? That's my total amount that I want my $25,000 to turn into, would be $23,500. That means I have my $23,000 that's invested plus the $500 I want to make. So if I take $23,500 and I divide it by 100, because that's how many shares I'm holding, then that equals $235. So that means that I could set my limit order at $235 and it would sell there, and I would have $500 in my account, right, that I made on the day profit. Now, the thing that you want to pay attention to is if I only sold 80 of my shares, right, then I'm not going to lock in that full $500. I'll still be up $500, but I'll still have 20 shares that are reacting to whatever the price average is doing on the chart, okay? So, again, if I sold all 100 shares at that limit order at $235, then I would have had my $500 and it would have been a day done, right? If I only sold 80, then I have to do my best at making sure that if it continues to go up, or if I want to just sell that last 20 and be over my goal, which is what I did at the beginning of this, you guys saw, I just sold my last 20 shares while I was over my goal, and I ended with 564. So this is why I use those OCO brackets. Now, the other nice thing about the OCO brackets, and I'm gonna buy one share just so I could show you guys this. So if I buy 1 share, all right, so I bought 1 share, and I want to set up my OCO brackets. So I do this, I hit edit, all right, so I got my OCO. Now, let's say I bought in over, like, down here, right? So let's say the low on this candle is 225.61, right? So let's say I want to set my stop loss for 225.59. And just to make this easy, I'll put this at like 240, just because I don't want these to be sold so fast, right? So I have 1 share at a limit order of 240, and then I have 1 share at a stop loss for a market at 225.59. So then when I hit confirm and then send, all right, we could see here's my brackets, right? So let's say that, again, I bought in over here, and as we pushed up, now obviously I didn't get close to my limit order, which that's probably a little ridiculous. I'll put it like here just to make it a little more believable. But this is what's nice about these. So you could just click and drag them where you want them to be. So the whole purpose of why I'm explaining this to you guys is, okay, so let's say I bought in here, I have my stop loss, and I bought here, let's say. And then we came up, and we hit this point. Now let's say I didn't lock in profits yet, and it started to bounce back. All right, and look, we've established now a higher low, right? So we've raised our support level. We were down here at 225.50, and now we've raised our support up here to 228.34, right? So now at this point, all right, if I bought at, let's say, 226.80, right? And I come up here, and then we hit this support, right? Well, now, while I'm sitting at this support, I'm at a positive number, right? And if I'm at a positive number, I mean I'm in the green here. And I'm going to lift this up because this is about to get sold. Okay. So if I'm sitting here and I bought down here, well, I'm at a positive number. So, and now we've established this new support level. So I can bring my stop loss up, right? So now by me bringing my stop loss here, I'm still doing the same thing. So if we start to break below this new support level, we're seeing a change in pattern, right? So I no longer want to hold this stock. So my stop loss goes through. But here's what's nice now. If my stop loss goes through at this point, now that I've raised this up, even though my stop loss is going through, I'm going to have a positive number up here because I'm above my average price. So even though my stop loss is going out, it's technically locking in profits for me. So as we continue to go up, right, we had another push here and a pullback. All right, so now we have this new support. Well, once I see that we have this new support and we've kept coming up, well, then now I'm going to raise my stop loss even more. So that now, if my stop loss fills, I'm going to be making even more money than I would have been on this one, or locking in more profits, right? And I could leave this limit order here the whole time. And all I'm doing now is I'm managing my risk as the stock trends in my favor. Do you see what I'm saying? So as this continues to keep moving up, I don't want to necessarily sell my position yet because I'm working towards my goal. And my goal is at this number. Whatever my limit order is set to, that's where my goal is, right? So as I keep moving closer to that goal, I keep raising my stop loss. And by doing that, that means that if this starts to turn out of my favor, not only am I managing my risk, but I'm now locking in profits, right? So these are things that we can do so that once we've taken a position and it goes in our favor, we're still allowing it to continue moving upward for us, right? A lot of times when I started, and before I started, I didn't know about the OCO brackets. When I would see like a push like this right here, and then the second candlestick where it's like, okay, we're losing momentum, and I could see that with my RSI, I could see that with my MACD, then I would just sell my position and lock in profits, right? And that's not a bad thing to do. Nobody goes broke locking in profits, right? But as we see, I got a new high, right? So I ate into more of my margin that I could have possibly made. And now we can see too, all right, so we've pulled back and we've kind of started establishing this new support level up here, right? So we're still kind of pushing downward. Our MACD is pulling back. So I'm not expecting that that's the lowest that it's going to go, but I want to watch and wait and see what it does. So as this, now we can see the MACD is pulling back, the RSI is pulling back. So as this pulls back and we start to find where that next support level is, where the next bounce part is, when I see that next bounce, then I can lift my stop loss up. Now it looks like we're starting to pick back up here, right? So now I could move my stop loss up and bring it a little bit below this previous support, because this is the lowest point, right? So see, now I'm even higher than I was. Remember, I bought in originally around, what was it, 229, right? Well, now my stop loss is way up here, so I'd be locking in profits. However, we can see that with this pattern, we can expect that we're probably going to see higher highs here, right? So as this continues to go in my favor, I'm allowing it to bring me in more, profit until I get to this limit order. And then you guys saw at the beginning of this video, which again, I'm sorry that you might have to go back and watch from the beginning now that you know where this video is going. But now that you've seen that happen, then you get the idea of what it's like. So again, I'm moving my stop loss bracket up, right? And this way it's helping me lock in my profits, but I'm not selling my position yet. If it goes out of my favor, it starts to turn, then I will lock in those profits, but I haven't hit my goal yet. And then once I hit my goal, then if I'm going to sell my entire position, then that's exactly what I wanted it to do. So do you see how this helps lock in? And again, this is also why I have a daily goal. I know there's probably plenty of traders out there who don't necessarily have a daily goal, and they just look for opportunities and do their best on making money. I like to have the goal because once I hit this limit order, right, and I sold my position and I hit that goal, I'm usually done for the day at that point. Like, that's what I'm talking about. So I liked, like now, I wasn't expecting that trade to go so beautifully, so quickly, but it did. And it was because, I had my OCO brackets locked in. I locked in my profits, and I was over my daily goal, so I sold that last 20 shares that I had. And this is just what I found. And again, there's probably plenty of you that, you don't like what the OCO brackets do, or maybe you're still beginning and you don't quite understand them yet, or you need to play around with them. But this is why I see the value in using these, right? You don't have to use them in order to be a successful trader. It just, for me, it helps me manage my risk. It's very visual, which I like. It makes it easy for me to see what's happening and pay attention. And like I said, I could always look at where's my average price here, right? So, I mean, you could even, depending on your style, if you don't want to wait for these supports, and I know, okay, my average price is 233.09, and if my stop loss goes, I want to be in the green. So look, I could move my stop loss up here to be a little bit above what my average price is. So this way now I know if my stop loss goes through, I'm still going to be with a green number, right? It all depends on your style. And if you're beginning and you're not used to using these, or you've never used them and you want to try, I would really suggest paper trading. Paper trading is a great way to practice. It's a great way to learn, trading to learn, right? So it's everybody, obviously, we all want to make money. That's why we have an interest in the stock market. But when you are starting out, it is so important to trade to learn and not to make money, right? You want to practice on seeing the opportunity, managing your risk. One of the hardest things when you're first starting out is not being afraid to take a stop loss, right? Especially, a lot of people are under the PDT rule, and they don't want to, it's never good using up one of your day trades on a loss, right? I mean, nobody wants to do that. It's obviously not ideal. But I promise you, if you do not practice actually setting up these stop losses and using them and sticking to that plan, you will see more red days than you will green. It's just it's unfortunately it's just the way it goes. You might get lucky one or two times, but 9 times out of 10 you are going to have a red day trading like that, because it's not having a plan, it's not managing your risk. And if the stock continues to go out of your favor, and then you keep buying more into it to average your price down so that you could try to make your money back, you're throwing money at a stock that is not, it's losing you money, and that is not a good position to be in. And I've been there, and I try to avoid that. So again, by using these OCO brackets, you can see this window of where you need to be. Everything is visual, and it's so easy to just click and drag, right? And then confirm it. If you hit this auto send right here, you won't have to hit that. Like, as soon as you let go of it, it'll just automatically, see, canceled and replaced. It'll automatically do it. I don't like having the auto send on because, like I said, I like to use my hotkeys on the keyboard. So if I hit, Alt S to set up my OCO brackets, and that's on auto send, then it's going to set it in with whatever the default is, and it might sell me out of my position and cost me a lot of money or stop me from having a good opportunity, right? And we don't want that. So again, I hope that this broke this down on how to use these OCO brackets. Please feel free, if you guys have any questions or anything like that, please feel free to put them in the comment section. I try to keep up on all the comments and answer any questions that I can. Please feel free to hit that like and subscribe button as well. I definitely appreciate it. It helps make things easier for me to be able to continue to make these videos for you guys. And I'm going to end it here. I hope you guys all end your day on a green note, and I will see you guys next time.